The violent divorce I discovered Preston's affair. He didn't panic, he didn't deny. We talked, we divorced, serene and civil. On the drive to pick up the divorce decree, I still couldn't help asking, why did you insist on keeping our starter loft? Oh, that. Preston spoke as if the sky were empty. Jade got jealous. She wants to personally destroy every trace of the time I spent with another woman, only then will she feel better. He shook his head, half laughing, half coddling. Little brat. I stared for a few seconds. Looking at the profile of a man happily on his way to divorce me, I swung my bag and smashed his nose into a red fountain. I suffer from emotional detachment. When Preston asked for the divorce, I handled everything with my usual rational calm. As the party at fault, he readily agreed to surrender most of our joint assets. The only thing he fought for was the starter loft. We had bought that place at 24, spending every cent we had. I still remember the day we got the keys, standing in the raw concrete shell, dreaming out loud, mapping our future, eyes shining. That joy stayed with me for years. 8 years later, Preston's salary kept climbing, each new house bigger, brighter, more beautiful. By the time we divorced, he owned 7 properties. We hadn't lived in the loft for ages. The once promising nest now sat in a shabby fringe neighborhood, its light poor, its decor dated, worth next to nothing next to the others. If it had any value left, it was a storage for the memories of the years when Preston and I had loved each other most fiercely. So when he insisted on keeping it, I naively imagined that, though his heart had changed, at least he felt guilty, that he still cherished the decade we shared. Turns out it was just a toy for his little girlfriend to torch. No nostalgia, no remorse. As the betrayer, if he'd had even a sliver of respect for me, he wouldn't have announced it so casually. I drew a long breath, studying his profile. He looked delighted, because he was about to be rid of me. A few seconds ticked by. I checked my seatbelt, checked the road ahead, glanced around the cabin, tested the heft of my handbag. Preston. Next instant. I swung the bag in a wide arc and painted the dashboard with his blood. What the hell, Livia, have you lost your mind? The surprise blow wrecked his composure. He swore without a trace of his usual polish. I watched him, ready to grab the wheel if I had to. I was the one speeding toward a new life, I minded the risks. He ignored the blood, wrestling the car to the curb before glaring at me. While dabbing his nose, he scowled in disappointment. Livia, I always thought you were too smart, too composed to act like some fishwife. Can't we keep this civil? I gave a cold laugh. Civil, huh? You planned this divorce ages ago, you're flying to your little lover, sunny side up. Sure, civility feels great when everything goes your way. In that moment I saw through my own pretense. I'd been betrayed, discarded, forced to smile at this spectacle. Why should I be civil? That's not grace, it's cowardice. He stared as if I were insane. What exactly do you want? I want the two of you miserable. I want this sleazy pair to never know peace. My eyes locked on him. To vent. Before he could react, another slap cracked across his face, the sound sharp, a red welt blooming. As I raised my hand again, he caught my wrist, teeth clenched. Livia, don't push it. Push it? Compared to cheating on me? Taking the soup I simmered to your mistress? Having her send me cuddly selfies while I lay in hospital? My face stayed blank. No deal. Until I exhale this rage, I'm not signing. He looked at me like a stranger, anger tipping into laughter. Fine. Fine. Livia, I always knew you were cold-blooded, allergic to loss. Seems I still underestimated you. Not wanting the divorce derailed, unwilling to let his girl stay a mistress a day longer, Preston shoo his eyes and swallowed the rest. Alright, consider it my debt to you. I twisted my wrist free, lips curled. Such a martyr for love. Make sure you tell your little angel every gory detail, let her shower you with pity. Another heavy slap followed my words. 3 By the time we reached the county, my mood had finally lifted. Then a shriek ruined it. Jade, the mistress, stood at the entrance, hands over her mouth, horror-struck at the sight of Preston. The girl had stilted on stilettos, poured herself into a Chanel dress, looped a Hermes bag over her arm, every hair and nail polished to military standard. Youth weaponized into glittering aggression. I couldn't tell whether the get-up was meant to crown her victory or to celebrate the new life she'd begin with Preston the moment papers were stamped. Either way, the plan was sinking fast. She threw herself into his arms, petting the bruises, tears shimmering. Uncle Preston, that evil woman hit you, didn't she? How could she? Why didn't you hit back? Preston scolded with fondness. Hush, behave. A scratch like this? Better than letting her vent on you. Jade's mouth puckered, she burrowed into his chest. He melted, murmuring comfort. The two clung together, grieving for each other, sickening. Signing or not? Speak now or I leave. Signing, Preston said. Jade sprang to bar my path. No wonder he can't stand you, apologize to him first. Half a head shorter, she glared up, cheeks puffed, tear-bright eyes blazing, reckless, childish courage. No wonder Preston adored her. With a girl like this, ego and IQ regressed to teen levels. I stuffed the divorce papers into my bag. Then stay a mistress forever, skulking in shadows. The day I feel like it, I'll sue back every dollar Preston spent on you, including that outfit. I swept my gaze over her luxury haul and nodded. Every last zipper. Instant deflation. Under Preston's soothing, she shuffled aside, pouting, while we completed the process. For when it was done, Ston shepherded the girl into their car and left. I stepped outside, inhaled the knife-cold December air. Only then did the pain in my chest finally bloom. I remembered Preston calling me selfish and cold in the car. It wasn't the first time. When he first courted me, he chased for 2 years without a flicker of response. Back then he had sighed and said the very same thing. Livia, you look so gentle, but you're more cold-blooded than anyone, so terrified of being hurt you won't risk letting a single person into your heart. And yet it was exactly this cold-blooded woman who, the moment we got together, lowered every last defense for him. After graduation we both wanted to go to grad school, but we couldn't afford it. Right then I landed a solid job offer, so I gritted my teeth, told Preston to study for his entrance exams without worry, and let me support us first. Rent in the big city was brutal. My single salary had to cover everything, so all I could afford was a tiny room without its own bathroom. We were dirt poor. Eating out was impossible. I bought a little induction burner, set it on the windowsill, and cooked the simplest meals. When a bonus came through, we'd splurge on the lamb spine hot pot place at the end of the street. It was a winter just like this one, perfect weather for hot pot. Preston always fished out the meatiest bones for me. One time he caught me combing the picked clean pot for any overlooked scraps and his eyes reddened. Lily, he said, I'm making you live like this. Wait for me, he said. One day I'll let you order whatever you want, buy whatever you want, without even glancing at the price. Believe me, he said. I'll make every woman in the world envy you. Promises are always beautiful. Reality slaps you in the face without warning. Last month my appendix ruptured. I collapsed in pain, was carried to the hospital by strangers, and called Preston again and again, no answer. Then an unfamiliar account sent a photo. In it AF. Resh, pretty girl had hijacked Preston's phone for a selfie, pouting, confiscating uncle's phone, no taking calls from anyone. Behind her, my husband stood leaning in the doorway, arms folded, smiling indulgently while she made her little scene. The next day Preston showed up at the hospital. Under my calm stare he spoke, voice strained. Livia, it's been 10 years. People get tired. Name your price, I'll compensate you. Jade's young, don't stoop to her level. Back home I felt a pang of regret about my outburst. Violence isn't the best tool. Life is long, I could handle this more gracefully, take revenge more artfully. While I was reflecting, I saw Jade's Instagram. Apparently to comfort her for the fright and grievance, Preston had taken her to feast and shop until both hands sagged with bags. The girl was obviously mollified, tiny dress, stilettos, perched in a high-end restaurant making AV sign, face all proud little kitten. At this point the bitter ex can only throw a tantrum, right? What else can she do? Kuma the menopausal woman, I guess. Among the flurry of pictures was one of a delicate ankle wrapped with a few loops of thin chain. I recognized it, my silver locket, left in the starter loft. Plain silver, the first gift Preston ever gave me. I'd worn it for years. It was listed in the divorce papers. Together with the loft it would soon be Preston's property. If he wanted to turn it into an anklet for Jade or a dog collar, I had no legal say. Crude theatrics. Jade posted it for me to see, nothing but mockery, bait to enrage me, a chance to claw back a win. I closed Instagram. I faced my heart honestly. Yes, I was enraged. True, violence isn't the best tool. True, life is long, I could be more elegant, more cunning. But right now I just wanted to wipe the grins off their faces. I phoned my lawyer first and told him to revise the divorce papers. I'd changed my mind, Preston could sign the walkaway clause. The lawyer hesitated. That damn. And, won't be easy. Doesn't matter. My gaze rested on Jade's gloating face on my phone screen. The one who can't afford to wait isn't me. I hung up. I went to the walk-in closet, selected a rigid metal-cornered box clutch, got in the car, and drove straight to the Riverside Mall. I found the two of them arm in arm outside the entrance and swung. The metal corner split Preston's brow, blood ran down. Jade shrieked again. Preston pressed a hand to his forehead, furious. Livia, what the hell is wrong with you? I raised an eyebrow. Oh? Going to hit back? I swept my eyes over the crowd already gathering. He ground his teeth. What kind of man do you think I am? I nodded. Good. Then a solid slap landed on his other cheek. The onlookers buzzed. What's happening? Isn't it obvious? Bet she's beating the mistress. Wait, looks like she's only wailing on the husband. Exactly. Hurt the enemy 100 points, I'm not losing 8,000 of my own. Striking the mistress is assault, automatic detention. Striking a still legal husband? Simple domestic dispute. Everyone knows how lightly that's handled. The girl yelled, indignant. Uncle already filed for divorce. We paid you off, what more do you want? We? I savored the word. Preston and I haven't collected our divorce decree, you two haven't picked up a marriage license, so who exactly is this we? People were already filming. Wow, the side chick's shameless. Uncle? They look the same age, what kind of kink is this? Hurry, record. Let's see if the cheater hits his wife for the mistress. Preston's IQ hadn't completely atrophied. Realizing the humiliation, he tried to drag Jade away. She struggled, shopping bags scattering across the floor. While he scrambled, I swung the clutch again, sometimes hitting him, sometimes the girl as she popped out of his arms. Indiscriminate assault. In the chaos Jade lost a shoe, the necklace around her ankle slipped, tripped her into a heavy fall, and went FL-ing into the crowd, gone for good. 7 Ignoring Preston's pleas, Jade called the cops. We were hauled to the precinct house. My lawyer arrived immediately and sat behind me. Sorry, officer. I bowed my head, contrite. My husband's betrayal hit me so hard I lost control and struck him in a moment of heartbreak. I apologize for the disturbance. The cop taking the statement paused, eyes hesitant. First time you've laid hands on him? Yes, first time. The officer frowned. My lawyer spoke smoothly. Domestic violence statutes require sustained, frequent abuse. My client's reaction was an isolated, overstimulated outburst, doesn't meet the threshold. The officer set down his pen and ruled, marital dispute. Sort it out yourselves. Jade sprang up, voice shrill. What? She bloodied him and walks free? The cop glanced at Preston's face. Looks nasty, but it won't even qualify as minor injury, no grounds for detention. Jade spun around, pointing at the purple bruise on her own forehead. What about me? She hit me too. I'm not family, that's assault, right? My lawyer flicked me a look. I stood and apologized again, perfectly docile. Sorry, Jade. You were in my line of fire. I couldn't pull the punch, purely accidental. The officer nodded in agreement. Miss, the surveillance footage doesn't show that Summers intended to harm you, so we can't call it assault. All we can do is civil mediation. In the end, following procedure, the police told me to pay Jade $50 for lost wages and $200 for emotional damages. $250 in total. I accepted the verdict with perfect sincerity, then called to Preston, who was busy comforting Jade, and pointed at her. Did you hear that? Send her $250. Since we hadn't finished dividing the assets yet, it didn't matter whether the money came from his account or mine. Jade's face went the color of old ash. When we walked out of the precinct house I brushed past her. Meeting her wary stare, I smiled lightly. Tell me again, why did you pick a fight with me? We've still got a whole month left in the cooling off period. I can change my mind anytime. Go on, flaunt something else and see what happens. Outside the station I felt every pore open, the air tasted clean. Suddenly it all made sense. All that poise, all that self-restraint, the performance of dignity, I'd been lying to myself. Whatever you swallow now will crawl back up some night and eat you alive. You'll replay today's humiliation over and over until it drives you insane. People should take revenge when they have the score to settle, right away, this minute. Let the anger out and your mood takes care of itself. So I've ended up on the same road most cheated wives travel, screaming, slapping, shaming. Except I have no intention of torturing myself. I'm going to torture them. 8 I was working the heavy bag when I learned that the clip of me pummeling the cheater and his mistress outside Riverside had blown up online. I've worked out for years, but only to stay sharp and keep everything tight. I never imagined I'd actually need to fight. Recalling the scene, I felt dissatisfied. My punches had landed okay, but the rhythm had been off. So I signed up for real boxing lessons. During the break the young coach glanced from his phone to me and back again. Hey, sis, this is you, right? I took the phone, curious, and discovered the video had already gone viral. Someone had doxed all three of us, our names were trending. The comments were a stampede. Finally, a wife who doesn't just slap the mistress and then go home to slap herself. I'm sick of women who beat up the other woman, close the door, and keep the trash husband. Face it, you just can't bear to toss the garbage. Girls, lift and train. Look at those clean, powerful lines on the wife, every punch is cathartic art. Big sis is gorgeous. Is the scumbag blind? Others sided with Preston and Jade. Am I the only one who thinks the guy was I to want a divorce? Yeah, the wife's too violent. Which man wouldn't prefer someone gentle? She basically shoved him away. If it were me I'd pick the mistress too, look how fragile and protective she is. Any guy's heart would melt. I'm a woman and I agree. Sometimes you need to check your own issues. Don't you think the wife looks pathetic? A true boss woman would walk away with elegance. Seeing the support, Jade created an account and posted close-ups of her bruises, purple-green prints on snowy skin, a scratch still beaded with blood, captioned, "Loving you is exhausting, but I won't retreat." I snorted and left a reply with a photo of the gym. You're not exhausted, you're just cursed. Then I uploaded every piece of evidence I had of her provoking me. The selfie she took while forcing down herbal tonic, someone's medicinal stew tastes like swamp water, but Uncle Preston says I'm weak and insists I drink it. The message she sent the night I had my appendix removed, surgery's scary, huh? Uncle Preston says I'm afraid of thunder, so he has to stay with me. The shot of her hand sporting a diamond ring, the $200,000 charge slip on Preston's card beside her glowing face. Life is a piece of cake, every boast, every taunt, every smirk, including the photo where she wore my silver locket as an anklet, went live. The popcorn-munching crowd deserved the full show. 9 By the time I finished training, showered, and changed, the tide had turned. Jade's delicate white flower persona was shredded. Bitch, bitch, I'm foaming at the mouth. She keeps sniping at the wife's age, can she not count on living that long herself? Chill, sis, chill. Go rewatch the beatdown, your lymph nodes will thank you. I loop it hourly, it's better than green juice. This is the drama we deserve, knuckles that don't lie. If I were the mistress I'd keep my head down. Is she brain dead, poking the wife every day? Can't stand losing, I guess. Some people steal your husband and still need to wave the trophy in your face. A few voices stayed cool. Am I the only one who thinks the wife looks desperate? All this mess screams, not over it. Exactly. The real power move is to sashay away onto someone richer and hotter, let the ex die of regret. Yeah, let Preston see her with a new guy, then he'll know loss and come crawling. Coach ate the comments like candy. He said my traffic could put the gym on the map, and when he read that last line he straightened, showing off sunlit abs and a toothpaste commercial grin. Sis, what do you think of me? Younger and cuter than your ex, I'll stand next to you and make him choke on jealousy. One more word and I report you for harassing a client. Okay. 10 I took the week off and checked into a hotel so I wouldn't have to stare at ghosts in every corner of the starter loft. Lift, swim, nibble desserts in the executive lounge, watch the skyline from the penthouse, wake up whenever I pleased. So what if a man stopped loving me? I can double the love myself. Online, the Voice of Reason Brigade kept hammering me for lacking grace. A million follower feelings guru posted, the highest form of female revenge is indifference, real exits are silent. Summers looks like she won, but she's still letting her ex's sins dictate her life. Throwing tantrums after a breakup only convinces the man he was smart to leave. I laughed out loud. Nothing like perfume on doormat wisdom. Why on earth should I care what my cheating ex thinks of my final form? Am I supposed to swallow my rage, develop breast nodules, accept the walk-away clause, and glide away like a tragic ice queen just so Preston can someday sigh, "Ah, I once loved a ghost in silver silk"? Still, with this many big accounts signal boosting, the heat was insane. I updated my bio on the spot. Might as well monetize the moment. 11 That night my college roommate rang, voice tiptoeing. "Livia, tomorrow's class Union, are you still coming?" I understood at once. Everyone in our circle had probably seen the footage, wife beats cheating husband and mistress at mall entrance. Of course I'm going. Why wouldn't I? Well, I heard Preston is bringing the girl, you might feel. I let out a soft laugh. Would it be embarrassing? He's the one who cheated and still struts around like a peacock. I'm clean, why should I feel ashamed? My roommate exhaled in relief. Good, that's how you should think. I was afraid you couldn't face it, after all, Preston was your first love. She drifted into the past, sentimental again. Back then tons of guys chased you. They said you were immune to both soft and hard tactics, that whoever approached got the same gentle rejection. Yet you said yes to Preston, and once you did you were all in. High school sweethearts to husband and wife, 13 years. It's normal if you can't let go. A tiny splinter lodged in my heart. Sunk cost is sunk cost. See you the day after tomorrow. The night of the reunion I pushed the door open, the noisy room dropped into silence. Every pair of eyes carried a strange weight. I scanned the tables. Jade sat beside Preston, a puppy in her lap, feeding it a butter cookie. I recognized the cookies, they were mine. I bake when I'm restless, I don't even like sweets, I love the act of creating. Preston used to take a couple of tins to the office with his coffee, claiming they were healthier than store-bought snacks. Jade saw me, slid another cookie into the dog's mouth, her gaze a neon taunt. What kind of garbage is this, fit only for a dog? I nodded. Good call. Better the dog than you. Reminder, the man next to you's been eating them for years. Jade's eyes slowly focused, confusion flipped to fury. Realizing the powder keg, classmates rushed to smooth things over, some changing the subject, others pulling out chairs for me. I didn't want to spoil the fun, so I laughed and sat. Halfway through the wine, nostalgia IA took over. Someone produced the graduation photo, someone else an old campus ID. The mood was perfect when Jade suddenly chirped. Speaking of old junk, I found a bunch yesterday while tidying the house. From her purse she drew the photo of Preston and me at the mountain temple, the safety charms we'd blessed together, the handwritten letters he mailed on business trips, keepsakes I'd carefully stored in the starter loft. She lined them up like evidence, appraising each in a loud, contemptuous voice. Look at this photo, so ugly it makes even him look bad. And this superstitious junk, typical old lady nonsense. She poked the plain silver ring we'd bought on our first Valentine's Day, flicking it with chopsticks. A lousy silver band still saved, obviously never seen anything better. The table exchanged glances, sneaking peeks at my face. I stood, pitched the contents of my water glass into Preston's face. You asleep? Control the trash you brought. Then to Jade, must be exhausting, hauling one big piece of garbage plus all these little scraps. Preston wiped water from his lashes and yanked me aside, fury rumbling low. If you hadn't posted that stuff online Jade wouldn't have been trolled for 2 straight days, she cried all night. She hasn't even named you, just borrowed a few things to vent. Was the water really necessary? She earned every drop. I flicked the empty tumbler, it caught his nasal bridge dead center. You earned it too. His nose, still swollen from the last time, spurted again. Jade shrieked. Classmates wedged themselves between us. Livia. Preston hissed. You're making a spectacle in front of everyone. Not ashamed? They won't side with you, they're here for the show. I gave a thin smile. Afraid? He's the adulterer, she's the volunteer mistress. If shame's a math problem, I'm not even in the equation. My gaze swept the room. If anyone here thinks I'm the disgrace, they need to examine the company they keep. A few faces Ed had been smirking now looked away. Preston inhaled sharply and opened the door. Livia, let's talk. 12 in the empty private room next door. Preston kneaded his brow. I don't get it. You're emotionally flat. Your parents walked out and you barely flinched, so why does one affair rip your face off? Why torture me? You never loved me that much. My expression didn't shift. Oh? Evidence, please. He paced, ticking items off on his fingers. Since we married you won't pass up a single promotion, even refuse to have kids. I could support you, you could take a cushy title, but no, you outwork me. Vacations? You spend them in the gym, in classes, not home waiting for me. All I wanted was a light left on. The only place I feel that warmth is with Jade. Jade's not like you, she's innocent, passionate, eyes full of me. I'm begging you, stop targeting her. Sickened by his shamelessness, I grabbed the nearest object and hurled it. Blind, are you? Who threw the first punch? Spare me the self-righteous script, blame your cheating on me? How cheap is that? I kept throwing, he ducked. Why don't you ditch the promotion? Why aren't you standing over a stove when I walk in? Why isn't your lamp lit at midnight? 13 exactly. I've never been the good wife, good mother of male fantasy. Because I refused to become my mother. My father cheated when I was small. Mother would retell their love story through tears, then rage. How could he change? It must be that witch's seduction. But father was already on mistress number 4. While she clawed at the latest woman, father looked bored, the mistress smirked, the onlookers pitted and mocked. That day I swore, I will never be that wretched. I will never trust utterly, never cling to a feeling. So I never had a ride or die girlfriend, no boy who made my heart somersault, no parents to act cute with. Years passed. Steady emotions froze into a lifeless pond. My existence felt weightless, like I could evaporate any second. Pr. Eston was never extraordinary. He simply showed up at the right moment. Just when I wondered what the point of living was, he said, "Livia, love is beautiful. Don't miss it because you fear getting hurt." So I tried opening the hatch, learning to love someone. But self-protection is baked into my bones. I can't give without reserve. I refused to anchor my life to a man. The moment we could afford it, I hired a housekeeper, freeing myself for my career. And that's supposed to be a crime? If I weren't a VP, would I have months of paid leave to divorce you? If I couldn't afford the best attorney, would you sign a fair settlement? If I were stuck at home with 2 toddlers, would I have to park the kids before I could punch you? The door had opened at some point, and a crowd was already filming with their phones. I knew this clip would be trending within the hour. My old classmates stood there slack-jawed until, finally, a few of them snapped out of it and pulled us apart. Preston and Jade were dragged off who knows where, and my college roommate stayed behind to keep me company. What had started as a reunion had turned into a full-blown popcorn fest. My roommate sighed. "Livia, you always did know how to upend our expectations. Back then we called you the Ice Queen, looked like you'd never even date. Next thing we knew, you were with Preston, serious all the way, married for years. When that video of you pummeling him dropped, we gasped for air. It felt great to watch, but we just couldn't picture you doing it." Kind of. She trailed off, embarrassed. I smiled and finished the sentence for her. "Kind of trashy?" She cringed. "Not exactly. It's fine," I said flat out. I don't see trashy as an insult. I'd only figured that out in the last few days. Women have been conditioned to stay docile forever. Novels, films, dramas, they romanticize the heartbroken woman who pities herself, who even seeks more pain, as if silent suffering earns some final cosmic apology. But the moment you actually hit back, the world brands you trash. Getting hurt means hitting back, end of story. We were born with claws and the right to use them. 14 in the past I hadn't understood, I'd only isolated myself. Not because I couldn't love, because I was running. Preston had been right about that. Scared of possible pain, I'd avoided the beautiful parts of love too. When I found out about his affair, I actually regretted ever opening up. Maybe I'd been wrong, maybe no one deserved a place in my heart. Yet slap after slap, I finally saw the light. That's no way to live. A coward bruises on cotton, she's even frightened of happiness. Life is once and done, you meet it head on. Laugh when you're happy, cry when it hurts, love when you want to. If someone wounds you, cut them loose or punch them back. Only then do you live free, no regrets left. Only then can you greet the next surprise with your arms and your heart wide open. 15 The days that followed were surprisingly fun. Whenever Jade itched to taunt me, I hunted Preston down and beat him up. To keep him from retaliating, I always brought Coach as my bodyguard. Eventually, whenever I lifted a hand, Preston and Jade's necks snapped back in reflex, their eyes wide with terror. Perfect. In my presence they weren't allowed to look blissful, it ruined the view. A cheater and his mistress should live with tails between legs, and I was delighted to see it. Still, Jade wouldn't learn. After her pregnancy test came back positive, she messaged me the ultrasound, smug as could be. 6 years of marriage and you never managed this. No wonder he dumped you. My belly's on the job, and Uncle Preston's over the moon. I stared at her little bump, fascinated. I almost laughed aloud. She'd just handed me a ticking clock. Jade would regret that provocation faster than she could blink. Because on the day set for our divorce decree, I didn't show. While she bombarded me with frantic calls, I was on a beach shooting vacation videos for my followers. "Livia, you went back on your word." I lounged under the sun, lazy and golden. I was too pissed to divorce without a tan. "Tell Preston to take another number." My livestream exploded. Big sis is gaming marriage law like a boss. Reverse psychology, if I'm chill, they're the ones who sweat. Let's see the mistress stay smug now. When the new date rolled around, Preston got the court summons first. My lawyer filed for a walk-away clause, he would leave the marriage with nothing. Preston stalled another month. But Jade's bump was starting to show. The girl wanted a dream wedding gown, and she sobbed nightly until he signed. "Uncle Preston, you'll make your million again. If we wait any longer, I won't fit into my dress." Preston gritted his teeth and signed. I walked away with every dollar we'd earned while married. My viral clips had already pumped my follower count past 6 figures, and the divorce live streams were pure gold. I did the maths, I was about to get rich by getting unmarried. 16 on signing day. Jade, tears trembling on her lashes, bit her lip and asked, "Happy now? After the next cooling off period, what excuse will you have?" I smiled sweetly. "Relax. I'll be there." When we finally collected the green booklet, Preston and Jade scarcely breathed until it was in their hands. This time I kept my word. I'd planted a bomb under Preston's life, and I needed to be out of the blast radius before it blew. Though my smash hit divorce saga had been everywhere, Preston had paid to keep our identities scrubbed. I'd stayed quiet, until now. The morning after the decree, while they were still picking their engraved invitations, every detail about Preston surfaced online. His blue-chip employer released a razor-edged statement within hours. "Preston has grossly violated our core values and code of conduct. His employment is terminated effective immediately. $1 million salary, gone." Jade tried to cop. Why me and open her own channel, but the second she flashed her diamond and her baby bump, the platform banned her for promoting unethical values. Meanwhile, my lawyer texted me, "Hale's dismissal triggers heavy penalties." He'd already over-leveraged, and with the marital assets gone, preliminary numbers put him nearly $1 million in debt. I sipped iced coconut water on powder white sand, turquoise water stretching to the horizon, and typed back, "Lovely." In the livestream, fans celebrated like New Year's. "Congrats Queen Livia, free and rich. Cheaters and side chicks deserve each other. One sacked, one cancelled, karma served. Plot so satisfying I downed 3 bowls of rice." I gazed at the endless sea, wind whipping my hair, smile bright and weightless. The emotional isolation I once wore like armor melted away without me even noticing.